Have you ever stood at a railway station in India? The noise, the rush, the vendors shouting, the trains arriving and leaving every few minutes. In the middle of all this chaos sits one man behind a dusty glass window, handing out tickets without even being noticed. Now, tell me, could you ever imagine that such a man, whose life seems ordinary, whose world seems routine, could one day move millions of people with his music? It feels impossible. It feels like a fairy tale. But listen carefully. They are written in forgotten corners, in small towns, and inside hearts that refuse to let their dreams die. This is the story of the ticket seller and his guitar. And maybe, just maybe, it is also a story about you. In a small Indian town, there was a man who lived a simple life. Every morning, he woke before sunrise, walked through narrow lanes filled with the smell of chai and parathas, and reached the railway station before the first train arrived. His job: to sit at a small counter, tear paper tickets, stamp them and pass them to hurried passengers. Day after day, year after year, the same job, the same window, the same dusty view of crowded platforms. For most people, it was just a livelihood. Nothing special. No one even remembered his face. To them, he was simply the ticket guy. But this man carried a secret the world didn't see. When the evening shift ended and the shutters came down, he walked home. His house was small, his walls unpainted, his furniture old. But in one corner, inside a wooden box, lay his most precious treasure, an old guitar. It wasn't new. The wood was cracked, the strings sometimes out of tune. But to him, it was not just an instrument. It was his best friend. Every night, after dinner, while the town slept, he would sit on the floor, close his eyes, and play. His fingers, rough from coins and tickets, all days suddenly transformed, dancing over the strings. His tired eyes softened, his voice hummed along. And in those moments, the ticket seller was no longer a man trapped behind a counter. He was free. Music was not entertainment for him. It was survival. It was prayer. It was the breath he could not live without. But of course, society had its opinions. Neighbors would laugh. Look at him, wasting time with that guitar. A ticket seller dreaming of being a musician. What a joke. Music cannot feed your family, my friend. Some were harsh, some dismissive, and slowly the man learned to keep his music private. He played softly, late at night, so only the walls could listen. But he never stopped, because he knew there are dreams that don't need applause to stay alive. You see, life doesn't always test us with challenges we can see. Often, it tests us with silence. It whispers, "Nobody cares. Why are you still doing this? Give up." And most people, when faced with this silence, let go of their dream. They think, if no one notices, if no one appreciates me, why continue? But here's the truth. The silence is the real exam. The empty room is the true stage. Because passion is not proven when thousands clapped for you. It is proven when nobody is clapping, and yet you play. The ticket seller understood this, perhaps without even realizing it. Years passed like this. Work by day, music by night. A dream quietly breathing inside a tired man's chest. Then, one afternoon, something unexpected happened. During a break at the station, when the rush slowed down, he took out his guitar and played a few notes just to ease his mind. A group of college students, waiting for their train, stopped. They were surprised. They had never expected such music from a railway employee. One of them smiled and said, "Uncle, why don't you perform somewhere? Your music, it's full of soul." That one sentence struck him like lightning. For the first time in years, he felt seen. That evening, when he went home and picked up his guitar, the strings seemed to glow. He practiced harder with new energy. He began recording small songs, though he knew little about technology. A friend helped him upload them online. And then the miracle happened. Slowly, people began listening. His music touched strangers. They didn't care if he was a ticket seller. They only cared that his music carried truth. Soon, an invitation came. A local community event wanted him to perform. Nervously, he stepped onto a tiny stage for the first time, and when he played, the audience grew silent. Some even cried. From there, step by step, the man who once tore tickets behind a dusty counter became a musician who touched thousands of hearts. Not because he was the most talented, not because he had the best guitar, but because in every note people heard the sound of a man who refused to give up. If we see this from the perspective of growth, it's simple. Dreams are like seeds. When you plant them, nothing happens for a long time. People laugh. They see only empty soil. They say, "You are wasting your time." But underground, roots are spreading. Roots are growing strong. And one day, when the time is right, a tiny green shoot appears. That's when the world notices. But the truth is, the real work happened long before anyone saw anything. The question is, will you care enough? Will you love enough to keep watering the soil even when nothing shows? The ticket seller did. That's why, one day, his music finally bloomed. This story is not just about music, it is about life. Many of us have guitars hidden inside us. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's cricket. Maybe it's teaching, or building, or painting. But life pushes us to counters, to jobs, to routines. And slowly, our guitars gather dust. The ticket seller shows us, don't let the dust win. No dream is too small if you hold on long enough. You don't need an audience to begin. You just need to begin. And sometimes the quietest perseverance creates the loudest echo. Most people spend their lives handing out tickets for someone else's journey, but a few turn their own life into music and lead the world onto a new journey. So, my friend, wherever you are, whether in a small town, a forgotten job, a dark room, don't abandon your guitar. Don't abandon your seed. Because one day, when the time is right, the world will hear your music. If this story touched your heart, type in the comments, I will not give up on my dream. And subscribe to Mindshift Stories. Each week, we bring you modern parables that remind you your journey is still unfolding, and the world still needs your music.